Good morning, one and all. I welcome you all to the session 1 of the second day of 5-day FTP being organized by Civil Engineering Department of GZS CCT MRSPTU Batinda under the guidance of Atal Academy. I hope you liked all the sessions of day 1 and I'm sure you will find more interesting and knowledgeable topics in the coming days. With this hope, we are going to start with the session 1 of the second day. The expert for this session is Dr. Sanjeev Kumar Agrawal. Let me first take the privilege to introduce Dr. Agrawal with all of you. An acknowledged academician and academic administrator, Dr. Sanjeev Kumar Agrawal has to his credit an excellent and meritorious academic career throughout. He has obtained all his professional education from prestigious technological institutions of the country. He obtained his Bachelor of Engineering degree in Civil Engineering with distinction from Thapar Institute of Engineering and Technology, Patiala in 1990. He followed it up with Masters of Engineering degree in Highway Engineering with distinction from Punjab Engineering College, Chandigarh, with GATE Fellowship in 1992. While in service, he got MHRD's QIP Fellowship to earn his PhD degree in Transportation Engineering from Indian Institute of Technology, Roorkee in 2003. He has a long and illustrious service career of serving at Gyani Jail Singh Campus College of Engineering and Technology, Batinda, in various capacities since last 28 years. He has headed the Department of Civil Engineering for more than 4 years. He has also headed Department of Training and Placement at this college for 3 years. He has also served as Director, Punjab Institute of Technology, GTB Moga for the 3 years, which is a constituent college of Maharaja Ranjit Singh Punjab Technical University, Batinda. Presently he is also serving as Dean of Distance Education Program, MRSPTU Batinda. He has participated in more than 50 national and international level conference, seminars, workshops, and professional meetings in India and abroad, and published more than 70 technical research papers in various journals and conference proceedings. He has guided more than 35 postgraduate students for completing their master's dissertation and 2 doctoral students for completing their PhD thesis. 5 other PhD research scholars are currently pursuing their research work under his supervision. He has traveled abroad to present his research work at various international platforms like World Road Congress Paris, France, University of Birmingham, UK, and Nanyang Technological University, Singapore. He also participated in specialized training program on smart payment at Australian Road Research Board, Melbourne, Australia. He is an active member of the various international and national professional organizations such as ASCE, TIARC, REAAA, IRC, IEI, ISTE, IIBE, and IUT, etc. He has been honored with several awards such as Vikas Ratan Award, Bharat Jyoti Award, and Shiksha Ratan Award for his contribution to the society through his profession. He has been actively engaged in providing technical consultancy to several government and private organizations in the field of highways, railways, and airport engineering. He is also coordinating the state technical agency set up by the Union Ministry of Rural Development for implementation of prestigious PMGSY, Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana, in the state of Punjab. He is one of the expert panel of several academicians and technological organizations of the country for enriching and sharing his valuable experience gained over several years. We welcome you, sir. You are most welcome, and we are very honored, feeling honored to you have with us. Now I request Dr. Agarwal to please start with his lecture on the first session of the second day.
Thank you, Engineer Sunita, for giving me my introduction, which was a little big one. Anyhow, thank you. A very warm welcome to all the participants who have joined this course from, I've been told that from far and wide of this country. From many states of the country, the participants are participating in this course on waste technology. And I've also been told that the participants are from varying disciplines, not only from civil engineering, but from other branches of engineering as well. So it is like sort of interdisciplinary kind of a program. So that will a little bit more challenging to, you can say, to make some of the technical things understand to the participants who may not be pretty much aware about some basic ideas about what we are talking about with regard to, say, the roads or utilization of this waste products in road construction and all that. But I will try my level best to explain wherever it's possible that what is the meaning of, in case any such technical term appears, so that everybody can, all the participants can feel at ease to understand the basic concept of this talk of mine. Right. So today is day 2 of this course on waste technology, and yesterday on day 1 we had already 3 sessions whereby you might have come to know about what this problem of say waste throughout the country and all over the world is. Of course, the management of this waste is becoming more and more, say, a challenging task for everybody, for the governments, for the NGOs, for the public. So everybody is facing the heat of management of this waste. Okay. Yes. Okay. Fine. So yesterday you had discussions on solid waste management, vermi technology, wasteland management, and e-waste. In my talk today, I would like to share with you something about this waste material, if it can be used for road construction. See, so road is an area of civil engineering where lots of materials are being used, and lots of construction activities are going on not only in India but all over the world. A lot of materials are being used for that purpose. But if somehow some of the waste materials, some of the waste products we can utilize while we are constructing the road, so that can be a great help, great service to the society as a whole and to the environment as well. So I just begin my presentation. So this presentation is titled as the utilization of waste materials in highway construction. So how come we can make use of the waste materials while for construction of the roads? So this is it. Yeah. So utilizing waste materials in highway construction or road construction. So let me introduce the topic first. The road sector has been receiving a lot of attention by the central as well as state governments during the last 2 decades. If we talk about our country. As a result, many new roads are being constructed and existing ones are being upgraded to meet the ever-growing traffic demand. Upgradation means their strength is being increased or they are being widened, the narrow roads are being widened. So a lot of activities taking place with regard to the upgradation of the existing roads and construction of the new roads. Some of you might have heard about these mega road construction programs like NHDP, which is National Highway Development Program, and PMGSY, Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana. So these two mega road construction programs are immensely contributing in expanding and strengthening the existing road networks in the country. NHDP is for National Highway Road Network and PMGSY for rural road networks in the country. So since last 20 years or so, a lot of road construction activity has taken place under these two schemes, and you can say the expenses to the tune of about 4 to 5 lakhs crores of rupees have been spent for say upgradation of the road network in our country. So it means a lot of activity is going on with regard to road construction. And traditionally, the soil, stone aggregate, sand, bitumen, cement, etc. These are the conventional materials which we use for construction of roads. I would like to inform participants that let this be an interactive session. Okay, since the participants are from different fields, so in case you find any of the terms which is not very clear, you can just ask me in between. So there is absolutely no problem with that. Okay, so it should be in the form of it is not like that just keep on telling and you people are not able to understand some of the terms. So please stop me wherever you feel like and ask the query. Okay. A huge quantity of naturally available materials like soil and aggregate is required to be used for road construction. So we need to understand this thing, that road construction के लिए जो naturally available material है like soil and aggregate, that is required, and lot of quantity of that is required for road construction. The bitumen which is used as a binder, bitumen जिसको हम हिंदी में डामर बोलते हैं, पंजाबी ਵਿੱਚ लुक किया जाता है, ठीक है? So that is a binder in road construction which is also obtained from the crude oil or petroleum oil refineries. So it means the soil, the aggregate or the crude oil, these are the natural resources which are to be used for the purpose of road construction. But we know that such natural materials are exhaustible in nature. Hence, their quantity is declining gradually with excessive use. So, more is the road construction activities taking place, more utilization of these naturally available materials is taking place. Therefore, some of these products are, you can say, getting exhausted at a much faster rate. So, definitely, we need to think about that. Also, the cost of extracting good quality of natural road construction material is also increasing. So as you can say, the mining or these activities, they are getting deeper and deeper. So the cost of extraction of these aggregates or let us say the petroleum, that is further increasing. So concerned about this, the scientists are looking for use of some alternative materials for highway construction, especially in the rural road networks where the traffic volume and traffic loads are not that much severe. So like other areas, the engineers and scientists who are working in the field of road engineering or highway engineering, they're also looking for to have some such kind of alternative materials other than the conventional ones, so that those can also be utilized for road construction, so as to safeguard the availability of the natural materials like soil, aggregate, and this crude oil from which we get the bitumen. So that is a concern. So looking into this concern, let us have a look at the waste material scenario. Of course, already you know, you have heard about this, and there were 3 presentations onto this aspect yesterday also. So just some repetition may be there in this just one slide. So as the world population grows, so do the amount of and type of waste materials being generated. Very true. So more is the population, more is the waste material. The creation of non-decaying waste material combined with growing consumer population has resulted in a waste disposal crisis. So we are facing this problem, we are facing this crisis of waste disposal because of a lot of this waste material being created by ever increasing population. And most of the waste produced today will remain in environment forever. That is another problem, because majority of the waste which is being produced, that is bio non-degradable. So once produced, this will remain in environment forever. Therefore, in the present scenario, dumping of several waste material raised from diverse industries is a big challenge. So different industries, or they are creating a lot of waste material, उनको dump कहाँ पे करना है? So that is another problem of its time. Some of these waste materials are not biodegradable and often leads to environmental pollution. Since the materials are not biodegradable, most of them, and therefore they lead to environmental pollution and degradation. So one solution to this crisis lies in recycling waste into useful products. So in many areas, the efforts are going on whereby these waste materials which are being produced by different industries or otherwise, they can be recycled and put back to use. That is recycling. That is one solution to this crisis. Also, some studies have been carried out which have shown that some of these waste materials can be suitably utilized in highway construction as well. So this addresses our problem up to some extent, whereby we say that whether we do have some such kind of materials which we can put in place of the conventional road construction material. The answer to some extent is yes. And in today's presentation, we are talking about some such kind of materials which can take place of the conventional material which are used in road construction. So coming to material used for road construction, my civil engineering friends who are attending this program, they may be knowing that what those materials are, but people from say other disciplines may not be having that much of idea. So I say the road pavement crust, which is the third dimension of the road, is constructed from layers of compacted materials. Now, all of us know about the road. Everybody travels on the road. And if we ask that how many dimensions the road has got, if you look at the road on the map, it is one dimension. If you look at the road, actually it is two dimension, length and width. Okay, but from the road designer point of view or from road engineer's point of view, the road has got the third dimension as well, which is not visible, which is embedded in the ground. So only two dimensions are available on the road to us. But it is the third dimension of the road, which is the thickness, or which you call as the pavement crust, which is of much importance. Okay, and this third dimension of the road, which called the pavement crust, this is constructed from layers of several compacted materials. The strength requirement of material decreases from top to bottom of the crust. So at the top, so you can see this figure over here. Okay. So from top to bottom, the strength requirement that reduces. So it means we need to put up a strongest material right in the top, and then as you go from top to bottom, the strength and other characteristics of the material, they can say decline. So not only in India, even all over the world, two types of pavements or roads are designed and constructed all over the world. You might have heard about them. One is flexible pavements, which mainly comprise of soil, mitti, aggregate, the broken stones, and the bitumen, or the look which you get from the refinery, which acts as a binder. The rigid pavements, they mainly comprise of the soil, the aggregate, again the broken stones, the rocks, and the cement. Cement, all of us know about that. So here you can see I have mentioned two figures. Flexible pavement 98%, rigid pavement is 2%. This is the percentage of the roads which we do have at present in our country. We do have flexible pavements 98% in our country, rigid pavement just 2%. So if we compare all the paved roads in our country, so this is the ratio. So flexible pavements, which we also call them as the bituminous road. I will be referring to flexible pavements as the bituminous roads in my future slides, because bitumen is the binder used in such kind of roads. So flexible pavements, bituminous roads, comprising 98% of the paved roads in our country at present. On the other hand, the rigid pavements, just 2%. So in this, the cement is used as the binder, or in fact not cement, but cement concrete is used as a material for the construction of rigid pavement. Okay, so we have got a soil, aggregate, and cement. The aggregate and cement combine together to form the cement concrete. So what is shown in this figure at the bottom is that the typical cross section of a flexible pavement on the left hand side, and the typical cross section of the rigid pavement on the right hand side. You can see the flexible pavement or the bituminous road, which is a multi-layered structure. We do have multi-layers, and each layer has got different materials used into it. One material or a combination of materials used into that. Whereas onto the other hand, onto the right hand side, in the rigid pavement, we do not have so many of the layers, just two layers. And out of that, The bottommost layer is again the optional one. We can provide it or we can even omit that. So mainly this comprises of the Portland cement concrete or the cement concrete slab, which can be even directly put over the soil. So lot of differences there in different two types of the payments. But when we talk about the utilization of the waste materials, so both types of payments can be used. Both types of payments can be considered for the utilization of the waste material. So this is one more say the diagram whereby explaining the two types of payments. On the left hand side you have got the flexible payment, on the right hand side is the rigid payment. So this payment which is shown over here, this is the cross thickness. So this is embedded in the ground. What is visible on the road is only this portion. Okay, the black top road we see, but what is underneath, so that is not visible to a common man. So this comprises of, this is formation, this is soil, then this is aggregate with some other material. We call this as the GSB, granular subbase. Then this is a base course over that, and over that is the surface course, and then surface course is overlaid with some kind of say seal coat type of material with which it is possible to stop the ingress of rainwater into the pavement. On the right hand side you can see is the rigid pavement where on the natural formation of soil we have got one subbase layer, and over that we provide the concrete slab, the cement concrete slab. So keeping all these layers of the pavement in view, so we shall be talking about the different the use of the some waste materials in the different layers of the pavement. Now the problem is again then of the material acceptability criteria for road construction. It is not that we can pick up any material and then start putting it into the road, and that will be a good road construction material. The answer is no, we can't do that. For conventional materials, a number of tests are conducted and their acceptability is decided based on the test results and the specification. By the look of it, even a conventional material may look to be okay from the viewpoint of road construction, but it is not the case. We have to put that material to undergo certain tests, and from the test results and the specification which are given, we need to come to know that whether this material is suitable for road construction or not. This ensures the desirable level of performance of the chosen material in terms of the properties like, as I mentioned in my previous slide, that soil, aggregate, bitumen, these are the three major materials which we utilize for the road construction. Specifically the bituminous pavement, which comprise of more than 98% of the paved roads in our country. So for soil, we've got the permeability, its ability to drain water, and its stability, that no volumetric changes, and the strength of carrying the loads. Then aggregate, strength, their crushing strength, hardness, resistance to ardentation, toughness, resistance to impact loading, their durability. They should remain in position for a considerable longer period of time, and their shape. Then the bitumen, viscosity of the bitumen, specific gravity, safety, because the bitumen is to be heated before it can be utilized. So at up to what temperature you can heat it, beyond that it becomes unsafe. Then it's temperature susceptibility, because you might have seen that in summer the bituminous material on the road that becomes soft and oozes out onto the road surface, whereas in the winter the reverse thing happens, the bitumen gets cracked, and through that cracked bitumen the water seeps into the pavement. So that is temperature susceptibility of the bitumen. So we have to see. So there are a large number of tests which are you can say provided by the various standards, in this case the India Road Congress standards, to evaluate the above properties and specification for acceptability. And these acceptability parameters are quite stringent with regard to road construction. But the use of alternate material in place of conventional material does not meet the acceptability criteria for road construction. So this is the problem, that we may be using the alternative material or the waste material in place of conventional material, but they may not meet that very stringent acceptability criteria for road construction. We may be constructing the road out of that, but that road may not be lasting for a considerably longer period of time. So then the whole purpose of constructing and wasting a lot of money, so that will not be serving any purpose. Therefore, the test and specifications which are applicable for conventional materials may be inappropriate for evaluation of ordinary materials such as industrial and other waste materials. So we can say that those tests and specifications which are good for judging acceptability of the conventional materials may not hold good for the alternative or the waste materials. So this is sort of a research topic that what are the different tests which we can put those alternative materials to, so that they can be accepted as the road construction material in place of the conventional materials. Material properties such as grading is their particle size and chemical structure may differ substantially from those of conventional materials. Thus, for appropriate assessment of these materials, new tests are to be devised and new acceptability criteria are to be formed. Again, a research topic. But of late, so what is happening right now is, rather than the individual physical properties of highway construction materials, the performance-based test of the road as a whole are being emphasized, which opens up the window for use of waste materials in conjunction with the conventional materials. So this is a very, very important statement with regard to this presentation. That if we are testing the individual, say, alternative material or the waste material, that may not hold good to be used as a road construction material straightaway. But if we somehow mix that material, if we somehow add that material into the conventional material up to a certain percentage, that percentage we can find out by carrying out the lab studies or the field studies, and then we assess the performance of the road as a whole by making use of those waste material. So it has been found that the performance-based test of the road as a whole, that has, you can say, given us the hope that these waste materials can be utilized in conjunction with the conventional material for road construction, and they can provide us with very good, not only utilization, but good strength and other properties of the road as well, which we are looking for into it. So it means there is the, you can say, solution to the problem up to some extent. However, the health and safety consideration should be given due importance while handling such waste material in road construction. So this is a very important aspect. Some of the material which we may be considering as the waste material, and we are trying to make use of that in road construction, that may be having some health and safety issues, but that is to be given due primary consideration, the importance while we are utilizing them in the road construction. So some commonly used waste materials in different components of the road construction are presented in the next slide. So these slides, you can see that usage of some waste material in highway construction. So what we have been using in the past. So we shall be discussing in a little bit of detail also about this fly ash, which we obtained from thermal power station. And for road construction purpose, it can be used as a bulk fill to create the embankment, and also the filler in the bituminous mix. Bituminous mix, that mix which is used to lay the binder course or the surface course of the road. And also it is used for preparing, say, manufacturing the artificial aggregate, artificial stone-like aggregate prepared using the fly ash, which can further be used into the road construction. Then from steel industry, we have got the blast furnace slag, which can be used as a base sub-base material. You need to remember that the cross section of the road, and we have got the subgrade, sub-base, base, binder, and surface course. So all these, so different layers, this can be used. Then the construction and demolition waste, again, different layers of the pavement, it can be utilized. Then foundry sand, again, a little bit detailed discussion is there on the foundry sand, which is obtainable from the foundry industry. The cement kiln dust, which is obtainable from the cement industry. So stabilization of the base and binder in bituminous mix. So this term stabilization we keep on coming again and again, because the conventional material which we are having, even some of them are even not very good. We have to stabilize them to make them suitable for use in the road construction. So different stabilizers are used, as a matter of fact. Then used engine oil from automobile industry. So this acts as air entraining concrete to resist the freeze thaw resistance, where there is a lot of say temperature variation in the atmosphere. In those areas, if you are constructing the concrete roads, so then this can prove to be a very good useful material to be used into concrete. Then marble dust obtainable from the marble industry. So this is again used as a filler in the bituminous mix to fill in the voids created by the large size aggregate. In the waste tires, again, detailed discussion is also following onto this waste tires. So automobile industry and the crumb rubber modified bitumen, we have put this waste tire to modify the bitumen, which is already obtainable from the oil refineries, and also it can also be used as the fine aggregate. Okay. So this is the usage of some waste material in highway construction. Now, when you say whether they are suitable, not suitable, some issues are there. For example, with the fly ash, it is lightweight and have pozzolanic properties. Pozzolanic means you can say it is ability to bind the different particles together. Then, but it's some issues are like from different sources, there is a lack of homogeneity, and the strength development is very slow. So that is an issue in utilizing the fly ash. Then steel slag offer very high skid resistance, but it is unsuitable for concrete works, because we know that we need good skid resistance on the road surface, so that enables the vehicles to move smoothly. Then construction and demolition waste have got good crushing strength, but again, depending upon the source, the properties of different this construction demolition waste that will be different or inconsistent. Then blast furnace slag, which is used for manufacturing a specialized kind of cement, which is good for the steel reinforcement. So, but it can create this groundwater pollution due to leaching into the ground wherever it is being used. Then foundry sands, again, this is substitute for fine aggregate in bituminous mixes. So, but it has got the presence of heavy metals, and it has got less affinity to bitumen. So we don't want that, because if it is having less affinity to bitumen, so then it will be having more affinity towards water. So it will attract more water. So in say road engineering, we say that the water is the biggest enemy of the road. If there is a consistent presence of water on any portion of the road, that road will deteriorate at a faster rate. Okay, so that is why we do not want the more affinity with water, but we want more affinity of any material with bitumen and less affinity with water. Then cement kiln dust. So this is good for soil stabilization because of its hardening properties, but it corrodes the steel used in concrete roads, because a significant proportion of alkali is present in this cement kiln dust. So it has got that issue with it. So waste tires, they enhance the fatigue life. So fatigue is like how a structure behaves under the repeated application of the load. And road is a structure. Road is that kind of structure where there is a repeated application of the vehicular load. So vehicles keep on coming and going from the utilizing the same portion of the road. So that leads to fatigue. But if you're using waste tires, so that enhances the fatigue life of the road. But the issue is that it requires special techniques for grinding it in the fine form and then mixing with bitumen. And while doing so, sometimes segregation occurs. So segregation means that your component of the waste tire that will be separated out from the main bituminous material. So that is a problem while making use of this material actually in the field. So it means that we do have some materials which are already being utilized for road construction purposes in conjunction with the conventional materials, but they do have their own issues. But these issues can be say tackled, or the issues can be taken care of while we are actually utilizing this material at site. Okay. So then I have introduced certain case studies whereby the material with different waste materials mainly from the industry, they have been utilized for highway construction. And then we will see that whether this utilization has been successful or not. And I would like to mention over here that these case studies have been carried out by the scientists at CRRI Delhi, Central Road Research Institute, New Delhi, which is a CSIR laboratory, and the only such kind of laboratory with, which is wholly solely dedicated to the field of road engineering or transportation engineering or highway engineering in the whole of the country. So this is located on the Mathura Road, New Delhi, Central Road Research Institute. So the scientists there have conducted several case studies for utilizing the industrial waste material in highway construction. So I will be presenting some of these case studies. So different types of waste materials are being generated by different industries in the country, such as copper slag, zinc slag, steel slag, Xerophix, Xerosite, phosphogypsum, red mud, kimberlite, lime sludge, marble slurry. All these are the waste material, which we call them as the industrial waste material, because they are produced in the industries. The total annual production of these waste materials in the country is several million tons. So waste material of the order of several million tons annual production. So it means what to do with this waste material. Presently, these waste materials are being dumped near the respective producing plants without any usage or without very minimal application. So it means that these waste materials, they are being dumped very near to the plants. They are not getting transported anywhere, and thereby consuming very costly land, which can be utilized for other purposes. And moreover, that the waste material dump keeps on increasing and increasing, provides a very ugly sight. Okay, so all such kind of problems are associated with the these dumps of the waste materials. But some of the waste materials have great potential to application in road construction. So whatever waste materials have been mentioned at the top, some of them have got good potential for application in road construction. So application of these waste materials may not only help to conserve the conventional road construction material, but also reduce the environmental degradation to a considerable extent. So if we are able to utilize these materials in the road construction where the demand of material is quite heavy, so then this is going to serve us two purposes. One is that the pressure on the conventional road materials that will get reduced, and also the environmental degradation will get reduced to a considerable extent by making use of this industrial waste material. Now let us see what these waste materials are and how they are utilized. The first one is the Xerophix. So Xerophix is a waste material which is generated during extraction of zinc from the zinc ore concentrate through hydrometallurgy process. So its annual production is about 1.5 million tons, and the total accumulation is about 30 million tons at Hindustan Zinc Limited. So I think this is the biggest zinc plant in our country, which is situated in the Chittorgarh district of Rajasthan. So at present, it doesn't find any application, and it is like other material dumped on the costly land near the plant itself, and which industry people say is a big problem for them. So CSIR-CRI has carried out a feasibility study for making use of this Xerophix for the construction of embankment and subgrade. Embankment is the accumulation of the soil, and then compacting the soil to form an embankment. Embankment has a surface which is at a higher level in comparison to the side soil or the ground level. And subgrade is the bottommost portion of the road, which finally you can say take all the loads coming onto it through the various layers of the pavement. It was observed during this study that its properties are similar to conventional soil. So that study was very encouraging, that some of the properties are similar to the conventional soil. So based on the outcome of this study, an experimental test track was constructed using Xerophix in the embankment along SH9 near Chittorgarh. So the Chittorgarh, they constructed a test track making use of the same. And then its performance was monitored over a period of 2 years. So it's a long study. So not only they constructed, but they continue to monitor the performance as well by measuring the deflection and roughness using Bankelman beam and dipstick respectively. These Bankelman beam and dipstick, these are internationally recognized equipment which are utilized for the purpose of measurement of the performance of the road, not the individual material, but the performance of the road as a whole after some time it has been constructed or put to use for the traffic. It was inferred or concluded that the performance of the test section was good as conventional soil and can be used as embankment material in road construction. So it means if used properly, this Xerophix can act as a good embankment material or can replace the soil, the natural soil which is available. So it means it will help us in utilizing this material to a considerable extent. Of course, then the problem is that once you have to transport this Xerophix to a greater distance, so then that whole purpose will get defeated because the transportation will be very, very costly. But at least in the nearby areas, wherever this road construction activity is taking place, wherever that plant is there, wherever this material is available, so it can be used as a substitute material for the soil. So this is a photograph showing the construction of Xerophix embankment SH near Chittorgarh. So the layers of this material, they are laid, then sprinkled with water, and then compacted with the road roller, and then next layer comes, so on and so forth. So in this way, it is established so that this is a good material which can replace the conventional soil up to considerable extent wherever it is available. Next is the chrome slag.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Sir, I have a doubt regarding the last slide. Sir,
Okay.
you have told that roughness is measured by help of dipstick. And sir, how the road roughness is expressed in unit?
No.
That is
This dipstick in this case, so this dipstick will be measuring the undulation in the road. Otherwise, the equipment used for measurement of roughness is the fifth wheel bump integrator. So this dipstick will be measuring the undulations, the ups and downs in the road.
okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Okay. Then there is chrome slag. So this is a waste material generated during the manufacturing of the chrome metal, chromium, which has potential for utility in embankment and road construction. Again, this was a research product undertaken by the CRI to study the characteristics of the chrome slag. So two types of slag along with local soil were collected from the Balasore in Odisha. So the plant is there in the Balasore in Odisha. And the two types of slag was say collected, coarser and finer. Coarser means of bigger size, finer being smaller size particles. Then these materials were investigated for their physical, chemical, and geotechnical characteristics. Geotechnical is from the soil mechanics point of view. Then both slags were blended mutually as well as with the local soil in the proportion of varying from 25 to 75% to investigate the suitability of these mixes for embankment, subgrade, and subbase construction. So the proportions mixed with the local soil in the ratio of 25 to 75%. So starting from 25, 30, 40 in this way, going up to 75% maximum. So it means these two extremities are 25% of this chrome slag plus 75% of the local soil. On the other hand, 75% of the chrome slag plus 25% of the local soil. In that matter, different combinations were made. It was concluded from this study that finer slag alone and mix of finer and soil in 80 and 20 may be used for construction of embankment and subgrade with soil cover on the slope. So 80-20 ratio, that was considered to be the more optimum one. Then with respect to the finer slag, a mix of the coarser and finer in the ratio of 40 and 60 may be used for construction of the granular subbase layer. It means this chrome slag in the presence of the soil, natural soil available there at site. So this can not only be used for soil subgrade, the bottommost layer, but also the GSB layer, which is a layer above the subgrade layer. Okay. So the mixing of the coarser and finer slag in the ratio 40 and 60 can help us in constructing the GSB layer of the flexible pavement. So this on the right hand side, you can see these two types of slag which are available. So they can mix together. The finer slag at the top and the coarser chrome slag at the bottom. The coarser slag was classified as GP, that is the poorly graded gravel. Okay, while finally, this is how we classify the different soils. While finer slags were classified as SP, that is poorly graded sand. So both these slags are non-plastic, non-expensive, and have good permeability. So these are the properties which we are very much looking for in any of the road construction materials. The aggregate impact value of the slag indicates that it is suitable for lower layers of road construction. So 8% aggregate impact value. Of course, in the bottom layers, we can use it, because for the higher layers, this impact value is a little less, 8%. So for higher layers, the value requirement may be around, say, okay. Then the CBR value of slag was observed to be in the range of 10% to 16%, which is much higher than the conventional soil. Okay, so it means that it is very, you can say, good material which can be utilized for the purpose of say subgrade and this subbase layer of the pavement. Because CBR is the characteristic value, CBR is the value which we attribute to find out the strength of the soil subgrade. Then comes the steel slag. So steel slag is a waste material which is generated as a byproduct during the manufacturing of the steel from the steel industries. Again, no application, but it is dumped on the costly land near the plants. So a study carried out by CRI, a typical slag was collected from industry in Goa. So this time they went to Goa and collected that slag. and say evaluated its possibility or feasibility of use in different layers of the road construction. To improve its engineering properties, the material was mechanically stabilized with locally available soil in the range of 25 to 75%. The same ratio as earlier material have been used, 25 minimum, 75% maximum, that is utilized along with the local soil. Geotechnical parameters of these stabilized mixes were evaluated to investigate their suitability in the construction of different layers of the road. So geotechnical parameters like the permeability, the liquid element, plastic element. So all the things related with the properties of the soil that they were investigated for this particular material, so as to check its suitability, whether it can be used for construction of different layers of road or not. It looks like that, the stone aggregates somehow. So technical specifications of steel slag is developed for utilization in the construction of embankment, subgrade and sub-base layers of the road pavement. So it means for subgrade and sub-base layer of the road pavement, the steel slag can be utilized. So from this study, it was concluded that steel slag, with or without soil stabilization, may be used for the construction of embankment and subgrade. So it means it can be directly used as the construction of the embankment for the purpose of creating the subgrade for the road. So it was also concluded that about 40 to 50% of steel slag material may be replaced by conventional aggregate for the construction of the granular subbase layer. So again, not only the soil subgrade, but the subbase layer, which is constructed over this, which is the first layer of the flexible pavement. About 50% of the steel slag can also be utilized into that, replacing the conventional granular surface material.
Excuse me.
And this conventional granular surface material we obtained from say the river beds.
Hello.
Okay, the coastal sand. Okay, so this material can replace up to 50% of that material. So thereby saving that costly, say the natural material, which is obtainable from the river beds.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, yes.
Sir, there is a question in the chat box. Shall we discuss now, sir?
Question in the chat box?
जी,
वो
जी,
बाद में ले लेते हैं बाद में.
Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. So otherwise, the participant can ask this question. I'll be able to answer that. What is the question?
The question is, sir, from Ms. Manpreet Kaur. Please confirm, is there any need to clean these waste prior to the implementation in road construction? If yes, what are the techniques involved in to clean these waste?
You want to say the cleaning techniques?
Right, sir.
Cleaning.
Right, sir. She is asking
Okay.
cleaning of waste.
Okay. You mean to say of course, yes, that before utilizing these materials, their properties need to be assessed. In the, you can say, if there are certain impurities which are likely to interfere with the properties of they acting as road construction materials, then of course those properties shall have to be removed first. Then only it can be used. But it has been found that there are no such kind of say impurities available in these materials. Okay, because otherwise these are the waste materials. So such kind of impurities are not say available in any of these materials, which can interfere with the performance of these materials as the road construction material. Okay, but in case there is any such say organic matter is there, then such type of impurities needs to be removed. Yes, that is to be done. Okay, then next is the copper slag. So this is a waste generated from the copper industry during the manufacture of copper. So it is in the form of granular sand-sized particles. So sand-sized particles, which are hard and heavy due to high specific gravity. Detailed R&D studies indicated its suitability for use in embankments, subbase, base, and even in the bituminous layer of the road pavement. See, here is the difference. So whatever material we have discussed so far, the waste material, they were confined to either say making them used in the bottom layer of the road pavement, that is either soil subgrade or subbase at the most. But the R&D studies have indicated that this copper slag can be used not only in embankment and but it can also be used in the base and even the bituminous layer of the road pavement. Okay, so that is a significant, you can say, study which has been carried out. However, it needs to be mechanically stabilized with fly ash or local soil for use in embankment construction. So embankment construction, so this is to be blended with the fly ash. Mechanical stabilization means blending with the fly ash or the local soil before we make use of it for the embankment. So about 15-20% of copper slag can be used as fine aggregate in GSB, base course or bituminous mixes. So up to 20% of the copper slag can be used in different layers of the pavement, above the soil surface. It can be utilized. So that has been shown, that has been proved through these studies.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, I have one question. So
Sure.
among the material, Arofix, then steel slag and chrome slag, which material would be the more superior for the road construction?
Out of which two materials you're talking about?
Comparatively, among the steel slag and chrome slag, Arofix, which material will be the most
No,
for
it's
the
not
road
like that. You
construction?
see, as I mentioned that these are all are waste materials, and wherever they are available, these materials are not available everywhere in the country. So wherever such plants are located in the nearby areas, those waste materials can be utilized for the construction of the roads. So we can't say that which one is the
Okay.
more say useful or not, because a lot of you can say depends upon that what kind of soil is there present in at that particular site. Because many location, even your naturally available soil may not be good for road construction. Okay, so it is
Yes,
a combination of
Okay.
the different materials which are utilized at that particular location where it is being produced. Otherwise, as I mentioned, that the transportation of these slags from one place to other, that is going to be very costly. So then it won't be serving a great purpose. Okay, so at least utilization of
Okay.
these waste materials in the nearby areas and mainly in the rural roads where the traffic, say the volume or traffic loading is not that much heavy, and we are looking for the low
Okay, sir.
cost of.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so that is the idea. So otherwise, yes, in the future there may be some study carried out also that if we want to compare that out of all these slags, which one is the better one, that can be done. If I can bring the different slag which is available from different parts of the world to my laboratory, and I can carry out that study, absolutely no problem with that. But that is a very good idea which you have given. It can be done. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Welcome. So for this experimental embankment was constructed using copper slag and local soil during the 4-lane widening of National Highway number 45B, which is the Madurai Tuticorin section, okay, in Tamil Nadu. The embankment was evaluated during construction by plate load test and dynamic cone penetrometer test. Again, these are very, you can say, the specialized tests which are conducted to evaluate the properties of the embankment. These are the load deflection test, the plate load test, load deflection test, and dynamic cone penetrometer is the penetration test, whereby you apply some certain load and see how much penetration of that penetrometer is there. The performance of the free stored section was monitored by the deflection and roughness studies. So again, the deflection and roughness studies making use of the different materials, the equipment. Deflection is measured through the Bankelman beam, and the roughness is say measured through the fifth wheel bump integrator. If you have to do it on a larger extent of the road, or for making you, if only ups and downs are to be measured, then the dipstick can be used. The performance was found to be comparable to the conventional soil embankment. Okay, so that was done. Then we have got this zinc slag. So this is a granular waste material generated during manufacturing of zinc. And again, this so this is different from that earlier material, Jaro. So again, this is obtained from Hindustan Zinc Limited, Chittorgarh. And there is a study carried out on this material, which is shown in this graph. You can see. Now, my civil engineering friends, they can very well easily recognize that this is an MDD OMC curve, or the compaction curve, whereby there is dry density on there on the y-axis and moisture content is there on the x-axis. And you can see that the zinc, slag, and soil mixtures varying from 25 to 75%. Okay, in this case, the three mixes they are mentioned over here, and you can see that all the three mixes are performing quite well. So the top one here, this one, 25% ZS and 75. So ZS is zinc slag, S is the soil. So this is the curve for that, and we get a dry density of the order of this 24 kilonewton per meter cube, which is quite good. Even with say 75% of zinc slab, see, and only 25% of the soil, we still get 22 kilonewton per meter cube of the dry density. So which is considered to be very good dry density for the soil for any purpose. Okay, so if this much dry density we are getting, so naturally it will give us a very good value of the California bearing ratio, which is a parameter used to define this strength of the soil substrate on which the road is to be constructed. And we also understand that more is the strength of the soil underneath, lesser will be the thickness requirement of the pavement. And weaker is the soil substrate or lesser is the CBR value, more will be the thickness requirement of the soil, the crust thickness. So it means even if the soil is very good, our requirement of the crust thickness to sustain the same load, that will be much lesser. So thereby economizing the whole project. It means that is why we concentrate a lot upon that what should be the strength of the soil on which the remaining of the road is to be constructed. So in that regard, this particular combination of zinc slag plus this local soil, that proves to be a big booster to make use of this material as the soil embankment and the soil substrate over that. Okay, so that is it. The next material is the cinder. So cinder is a waste material which is generated as a coal residue from the blast furnace of the power plant. So this material has potential in the construction of road embankments. To improve its strength, cinder is mechanically stabilized again from 25 to 75%. Then the stabilized layers, sub-base and base courses, they were constructed. And physical and geotechnical characteristics of cinder and local soil collected from the Jugal Salai dumping yard at Jamshedpur in Jharkhand, they were carried out in the laboratory. And then specifications are developed for construction of pavement layer as per the MORTH. MORTH stands for Ministry of Road Transport and Highway Guidelines. So all the road construction materials, they are to be evaluated and used for road construction as per these guidelines. So it means we have to formulate some method in which whatever waste material we are utilizing, they should be conforming to the guidelines of the these MOTH, Ministry of Road Transport and Highways. So this is this picture shows the Jugal Salai dumping yard, Jamshedpur, Jharkhand. So they carried out the design and stability analysis of the embankment with cinder plus soil under different saturation conditions. Saturation means the moisture content. Okay, so moisture content was varied. The cinder was observed to be coarse-grained and non-plastic material. According to Bureau of Indian Standard Classification, the cinder is classified as GP, that is the poorly graded gravel. So it means it is resembling a soil of say that of quality of gravel. So it is observed that cinder should be used in the construction of embankments, subgrade, subbase and base layer of the road, either individually or blended with local soil. So as like other materials, we have seen that there are certain materials which are required to be used along with the conventional material like soil and other material. But the other materials like cinder can also be used in a standalone mode in the subgrade, subbase and base layer. Okay. So these studies have shown that these materials have got good potential of using them for the road construction purposes. Then other material is the phosphogypsum. So this is a waste generated from the fertilizer industry during the preparation of phosphoric acid. So its production is around 12 million tons per year in the country. So out of its total production, about 50% utilized for cement manufacturing and fertilizer in agriculture and manufacturing of gypsum board, etc., which are used nowadays in the building construction. The remaining waste is dumped in a slurry form at the designated pond without any usage and is occupying costly land space. So this is a waste which is not available in the dry form, but this is available in the slurry form. Slurry is a powdery form, plus it is mixed with water, and then it is say sent to a designated pond. So in a study conducted by CRI, phosphogypsum waste was collected from Paradeep Phosphates Limited, Odisha, and was investigated for its physical, chemical, and geotechnical characteristics. And based upon laboratory results, the feasibility of utilization was carried out by constructing the experimental road section. This is very important, that rather than going for the individual properties of material, we need to construct the test sections making use of these materials. It was tried in different layers of road construction for utilization as given below. So phosphogypsum in embankment construction with or without soil cover, and in subgrade layer, and in the granular subbase layer construction. So this phosphogypsum was tried in 3 different layers of the pavement. During the construction, the subgrade modulus and in situ CBR values were determined. The subgrade modulus we also call in engineering, we call it as the K value of the soil. And in situ CBR means this is called the field CBR test. There is one laboratory CBR test, but in situ CBR is the field CBR test. So this K value and the CBR values, they are interrelated values with each other. This K values we use for the design of the concrete pavements. CBR value we use for the design of the bituminous pavements or the flexible pavements. It was observed that value of these parameters are similar to the conventional soil. The performance monitoring was also carried out after the construction of pavement by measuring structural as well as functional behavior of the phosphogypsum road. So whether it is structurally sound or not. And functional means the parameters like the roughness and the other parameters, this surface distress, etc., they were measured. It was concluded that phosphogypsum is a potential waste material and can be used as an alternative road construction material. So it can be used as a standalone material, as an alternative material, not with say mixing with any other type of material. So it is a fine grained material, non-expensive, non-plastic, and poorly graded. So it is low compressible material, and settlement is expected to be complete during the construction itself. So from the observed properties of this material, when it was utilized in the field, actual road was constructed, and then it was evaluated, it was found that majority of the properties of this material resemble a good quality soil, which we should be preferring to be used for the road construction purposes. Okay, so this phosphogypsum passes that test, and it can be utilized for the purpose of road construction. Then comes the red mud. So this is a waste material produced from the refining of the bauxite. Bauxite is aluminum ore for the production of aluminum. So in India, alumina is produced from the Bayer's process, which generates red mud with a very high water content. It is again mixed with water to dispose of in a lean slurry. So red mud is again disposed of in a slurry, not in the dry form. So currently it is being dumped in the ponds near the plants without any use. The annual production of red mud is about 5 lakh tons only at Hindalco Industries in Muri in Jharkhand. So in this study carried out by CRI, this red mud was collected from that industry, and it was investigated whether it can be used for construction of embankment. So this is the red mud. The particles are mostly round shaped and closely associated in non-porous silt and clay size particles. So this is a material which is slightly different from the earlier material which we have discussed. The earlier material was more or less of the sand or the gravel type, but this is a material which is resemble more the silt or the clay type, which is very fine grained material and which is otherwise not considered to be a very good material for road construction. However, it is heavier compared to natural soil with a specific gravity ranging from 2.8 to 3.2. But it has got good shear strength, it has been observed, which is comparable to the silty sand. The permeability of the red mud is very low. So this is otherwise not a good property for this material to be used as road construction material. We want the permeability of the material to be good so that it permits the water to flow without any problem. The geotechnical characteristics of the red mud under controlled moisture conditions show its suitability for embankment construction. So embankment can be constructed, but then it has to be covered with a good quality soil over that. Okay, in order to say take into account that we can, since its permeability is very low, so we may have to provide a drainage layer over and above this embankment of the red mud, so that whatever water seeps through into the pavement, that can say go past the pavement without entering into the red mud. Because red mud, since it resembles a more of say silt or clay, this will retain water. And for road construction, we do not want any retention of water. So red mud can be considered as a material, not in any layer of the pavement, but for constructing the embankment, which is ready to receive the different layers of the pavement above that. Okay, so for that much extent, this material can be used. That is, soil can be saved. Then is the foundry sand. So this is industrial waste material generated from the foundry industries spread all over the country. So otherwise, it is naturally sand, naturally available sand, which is used as a molding material in the ferrous and non-ferrous metal casting industry. So casting industry में इसका already soil का जो इस्तेमाल करते हैं. So the waste soil is called as the foundry sand. Once it has been used in the foundry, and then it is thrown away, then it is called the foundry sand. And this sand is typically recycled and reused through many production cycles. But after several cycles, it becomes unsuitable for the industry and pile up as a waste material, and thereby called the foundry sand. So the total production of this sand is about 3 million tons annually in the country. So it contains some materials like unburnt carbon oxide, silica, etc. So it has sand-sized particles. Particle size resembles that of sand, and this is non-plastic in nature. So it means this property of this foundry sand again makes it suitable for road construction purpose. However, its specific gravity is less than conventional soil, and it is available in dry condition. So again, that makes it usable. It has got a high value of CBR. So that is very good, because I mentioned that the more is the value of CBR, lesser will be the thickness requirement of the pavement over it. So this can serve as a good road construction material because of this property of this having high value of CBR. And it is permeable material like conventional sand. So दोनों properties की बहुत अच्छी हैं. It has got good strength, good CBR value, and permeability. It doesn't allow the water to retain, but it allows the water to seep through it. It has got good shear strength and low value of compression index, indicating it is incompressible. So we do not want any soil or any other material to be used in a road which get compressed with the movement of the vehicles. So whatever say compression is there, that should take place right in the beginning at the time of construction. It is incompressible in nature. Again, good property for road construction material. But it has been observed that it cannot be used directly in the construction of embankment or subgrade. So hence it may be tried after further laboratory investigation and suitable modification of the engineering properties either by mechanical or chemical stabilization. Mechanical stabilization is the mixing of this material with other materials in certain proportion, and then making a mixed design sort of that, so as to find out the exact proportioning of different materials which are more suitable. And the chemical stabilization, so stabilizing this material, making use of some other chemical. So that is to be done. So it means one thing is there, that this foundry sand is not directly usable for road construction, but in conjunction with the other material after say getting it through the mechanical or chemical stabilization. The experimental test section of limited length may be constructed after the design and stability analysis. So again, like some of the previous materials, some test section need to be constructed for making use of this material, and thereafter the decision is to be taken whether it is to be used or not to be used. And then performance and of the constructed embankment and other layers need to be monitored over a period of at least 2 monsoon seasons. So, because the monsoon season affect the roads to a considerable extent. Okay, so at least 2 monsoon seasons should be allowed to pass over the test section before any decision can be taken with regard to its usability. So then comes the fly ash. I think all of you might be knowing about this fly ash, which is a waste product of coal-fired generation plants. So going into the details of what fly ash is and how much it is produced in the country, I skip this slide and straightway come to that how it is used in the bituminous road construction. Okay, so in bituminous road construction, it can be used in 2 ways. One is it can be say added to the soil to enhance its CBR value. Another is that it can be used as a filler material in the hot mix asphalt, तो पेविंग एप्लीकेशन, तो इसको बिटुमिनस मिक्स में भी ऐड कर सकते हैं और इसको सॉइल में भी ऐड कर सकते हैं. सो इट इज यूजेबल इन डिफरेंट लेयर्स ऑफ द पेमेंट. So this is a case study which we had carried out here at our institute some 5-6 years back. So it states that the fly ash used as subgrade material having higher CBR values, the required pavement thickness of pavement would go down substantially, resulting into economical roads. So on the left hand side, you can see it is mentioned that the soil subgrade CBR is 2.8. And as per the design codes, the total thickness of the road is designed to be 500 mm, comprising of different layers: drainage layer, subbase layer, base layer, surface layer, etc. The total is 500 mm, and the CBR value is 2.8. But when the fly ash is added to that soil, and then its CBR is tested, it has been found that the CBR value gets improved to 7. So then again, if you apply the relevant code of practice, which is IRC 37/2018 in this case, so then you will find that there is considerable reduction in the crust thickness requirement of the pavement. So earlier it was 500 mm with the soil only, but once the fly ash is added to that, the requirement gets reduced to only 300 mm. So there is considerable reduction in the material or the thickness of the different material to be used for the road construction. Okay, so that proves the suitability of this fly ash as a very good road construction material in the soil subgrade. Then even in the concrete road construction, so whatever we had discussed so far, they were all say pertaining to the making use of the different materials for the bituminous road construction, which are about 98% of the paved road in our country. But this fly ash is a material which can also be used in the concrete road construction. Okay, so in concrete road construction, it can even be used up to 50% by volume in cement. So cement ka 50% volume tak you can replace it with the fly ash because it has got those binding properties. So when the replacement of the cement with fly ash is of the order of 50%, so this is called as the HVFA concrete, high volume fly ash concrete. High volume fly ash concrete. Okay, so this is a tremendous application of this fly ash into the concrete road construction. As I mentioned that this 98:2 ratio is a bit, you can say, very odd looking ratio, but of late, since last about 5-6 years, whatever this national highway road construction is taking place all over the country, more and more use is being made of the concrete road. Even in Punjab, majority of the national highways which have been upgraded, which have been widened, that has been done through making the concrete road construction. Okay, so this fly ash can be utilized as a very good, important, useful product or the waste material which can be utilized for that purpose. So HVFA concrete. So in Gujarat Ambuja Cement Limited. So Gujarat Ambuja Cement Limited, they have got a plant in Ropar in Punjab. So they have constructed a fly ash road, sample road over there in their plant, and the test results indicate that this concrete gives high compressive strength of 41.6 MPa, megapascal, 41.6, against the requirement of the minimum 40 MPa, and the bending strength or the flexure strength of 7.6 against the requirement of 4.5. So it means this fly ash has tremendous potential to be utilized not only for bituminous pavement but also for concrete road construction, and it has been proved by actually say constructing the test tracks, and these test tracks are going on for years together without having any problem at all. Then comes this plastic waste. Of course, we have been hearing about the plastic road and all such kind of things, and we know that the plastic waste poses a lot of problems. So this slide lists all those problems. I just skip that slide and come to that how it is used. The government in 2015 has made it mandatory for all road developers in the country to use plastic waste along with the bituminous mix for road construction, at least in the rural roads, if not in the national highway, state highways, but rural roads में कम से कम सरकार के order के मुताबिक it is mandatory for road developers to use waste plastic along with the bituminous mix. So this technology of making use of plastic was developed by this man, Professor Rajagopalan Vasudevan. Professor Rajagopalan Vasudevan, Professor of Chemistry at Tyagarajar College of Engineering, Madurai. So he is also known as the Plastic Man of India. So he did a tremendous job in making use of this plastic in road construction. So he also implemented use of plastic waste and by constructing a road in his college itself in the year 2002. But later on, it is being used elsewhere as well. So what is done in this case is that the waste plastic is shredded. The waste plastic is shredded into particle size using a shredder, and then the aggregates, so the road aggregates or the stone aggregate, they are heated at 165 degrees Celsius and then transferred to the mixing chamber. Then this shredded plastic is added to the aggregate. तो stone के अंदर जो है जो shredded aggregate है, जो shredded plastic है वो add कर दिया जाता है. So this shredded plastic gets molten in stage and it coats the aggregate. Aggregate की वो coating कर देता है. So it gets within 30 to 60 seconds. Then bitumen is heated separately at 160 degrees Celsius, and then bitumen is added to this mix, and thereby now the bitumen coating is there on that aggregate which is already coated with the waste plastic. Okay, so in this way it has been found that the bonding between the aggregate and bitumen becomes much better in comparison to when this plastic was not being used. Okay, so this resolve the problem of the bitumen getting stripped from the aggregate. So this problem gets resolved up to a considerable extent. So it means that a lot of plastic can be utilized in this way for making the bond between the aggregate and bitumen much better in comparison to the conventional bond. Okay. Then we come to the waste tires. Again, this is a huge problem. Around 50 million waste tires generated annually in India only. So their dumping is very hazardous for the environment, and also sometimes these waste tires they are burnt in open. Again, that is a big hazardous problem for the environment, right? So something is to be done about this. How these waste tires can be utilized for the purpose of road construction? The answer is yes. The use of crumb rubber obtained from the waste tires. So powdered waste tire called crumb rubber is very useful in road construction purpose. So the scrap tires, they are pre-processed by shredding to remove the steel cord and the bead wire. So these tires have got the steel wires into it. Okay? So they are first removed out, and then these tires, they are they put into the rotating corrugated steel drums, which are used to tear the scrap tires into the smaller grounded crumb rubber, that is called as the crumbed rubber, with size ranging from 4.75 mm to 425 micrometer. So you may be knowing that this particle size range represents that of the fine aggregate, 475 mm downward up to 425 micrometer. So this scrap tire rubber can be incorporated into the bituminous mix using two methods. One is wet process and another is dry process. So in the wet process, this crumb rubber acts as a bituminous modifier, and the resultant product is known as the CRMB, crumb rubber modified bitumen. Whereas in the dry process, the granulated or the ground rubber is used as a portion of the fine aggregate. The bitumen in the dry process, it is used as a partial replacement of the fine aggregate, which is the sand. So CRMB is produced by wet process in which the crumb rubber is added to hot bitumen of temperature 150 to 160. So it has been observed by adding this waste tire in the form of crumb rubber into the bitumen, some of the properties of the bitumen get improved considerably. So it has been tested, it has been verified, and the Indian Road Congress, they have also come out with a code of practice on to making use of CRMB into the road construction. So some of the properties of the bitumen, they have been improved considerably. So crumb rubber, when added to bitumen, dramatically increases viscosity. That increases, the penetration value decreases while increasing the softening point. So these are the properties we associate with the bitumen. It results in improved adhesion and binder, better strength. Okay, so it has been observed that the CRMB as a product, is a binder, is a much better product in comparison to the conventional type of bitumen which we have been using. So it means this waste rubber, this waste tire, and this crumb rubber obtained from the waste tire can be effectively utilized along with the bitumen for constructing the road construction for making use of it along with the bitumen. One thing I would like to mention over here that the CRMB is a industry product. So we cannot do it in the field. So this is not done in the field, but it is done in the refinery itself, where the bitumen is released to the into the market. Then another one is the municipal solid waste. So this is again a case study of this MSW. This is the case study of Gazipur, Balsawa, Okhla, out on the outskirts of Delhi. Okay, so about 3,000 tons per day of MSW is deposited on this Gazipur landfill site. So, but it was say studied, this waste dump was studied. It was found that about 91% of this dump comprises of soil. So, 91% of this is soil. So, the soil is a road construction material. So, we can extract the soil out of this and utilize it for the purpose of road construction. So, that was a very, you can say, good outcome of this particular study. So, that was a feasibility study which was carried out. And straightway go to the last line, that it has been observed from this study that about 65 to 75% of this municipal solid waste can be used for embankment construction. After processing that waste through various processes, the final, you can say, material that can be utilized for the construction of the embankment. The reason being because majority of this waste, the solid waste, that comprises of the soil itself, and soil is a road construction material, that is a natural road construction material. So we are reclaiming the soil from the waste, we are getting back the soil from the waste and then utilizing it again for the purpose of road construction. So that is a very good use. Then this recycled asphalt pavement, that is the road pavement which has gone bad or which has outlived its life, so that can be also be recycled, so that the new aggregate, new soil, new bitumen, of course that is to be used, but the utilization of that new material can be reduced up to considerable extent. So we should not mean to say that we should not be creating the waste out of those payments which have outlived their life. But whatever material has been used in the past, that should be reused on the same payment. So thereby resulting into what we call as the recycled asphalt payment. Asphalt is another name given to the bituminous payment. So asphalt, American people called it as asphalt, and we in India call it as bitumen. Otherwise, material is the same. So you can also call it as the recycled bituminous payment. Okay. So these are the various, you can say, materials and the techniques which were utilized for the purpose of making use of these waste materials for road construction. So I come to my concluding remarks. So looking into the potential of these materials, the construction of road using waste material should be encouraged at all levels. So as I mentioned, the government has made it mandatory at least to be utilized for rural road construction. But there are certain barriers in their application, like lack of awareness amongst users, uncertainties of engineering properties, lack of availability of the design codes, risk factor about the performance, lack of skill for using this material, non-availability of the design data, construction methodology, and poor adaptation attitude of the government policymakers. So these are the barriers which hamper the use of this waste material. So, but of course, these barriers can be overcome in the due course of time. The majority of the transport planners, policymakers, and field engineers are not sure about the characteristic, behavior, and performance of these waste as road construction material. But the biggest challenge is this one, to get this site for construction of an experimental test section. Because as I mentioned in the beginning, that you have to use this material, construct an experimental test section, allow the traffic to move over that, and then evaluate the payment after some time, preferably after one monsoon season or two monsoon season. Thereafter, we can say with certainty that whatever material was put into use in the road construction, that passes the test or not. So therefore, it is strongly recommended that payment performance study should be done for construction of highways with these waste materials. So not only the making, say, the test on the individual materials, but construct the payments and experimental payments, and then use them for considerable period of time and conduct the payment performance studies. And thereafter, the verdict should come out whether this waste material is good for road construction or not. So finally, the final statement that effective utilization of waste material will help in not only clearing valuable land from huge dumps of the waste, but also preserve the natural reserve of conventional road construction material, thus protecting the environment in a big way. Okay, so our effort should be two-pronged. One is that the huge dumps of the waste, they can be used for some good purpose, and second is thereby protecting the environment by reducing that waste. Okay, so that is you can see the final message of all such kind of presentation on utilization of waste materials for some good use. Okay, that is it for today. So this is a list of references which I have extensively used to prepare my presentation. Thank you so much for patient. Any query you can please
So I
ask.
have a question.
Yes, please.
I have a question, sir. Sir,
Yes.
that is a waste plastic and that is a waste tire. It can be used at the same time for the construction of road, both the material along with the bituminous.
No, no. The technology of using the waste plastic is different from using the waste tire. So see, waste tire is rubber.
Yeah.
That is not plastic. Okay. So in case of waste plastic, there is a coating of the molten
Bitumen.
plastic over the aggregates first. Thereafter, the coating of the bitumen comes. So thereby providing a much better bonding between these two. Whereas the waste tire, that has got two uses. One use is you can add that to bitumen for enhancing its properties. Okay, another is you can utilize it in the final form by replacing the sand into it. So sand is a natural material.
Okay.
So one is the replacement of sand, and second is by adding into the bitumen for improving its properties in the form of the crumb rubber. So we call it as CRMP. So the utilization of the plastic is different. Utilization of waste tire is different with regard to the road construction material.
Okay. So plastic road are the now commonly which is implemented in India, but where now the waste tire road is there, sir? Right now,
No,
is there?
there's nothing of this sort. You see, plastic road is a misnomer. You cannot have a road entirely made up of plastic and allow the vehicle to move over that. So plastic road is not like that. Plastic road is a road where waste plastic has been used up to some extent in any of the construction layers. So that may be called as a plastic road. Otherwise, there is no such road possible whereby you are constructing it wholly solely out of plastic. That is a misnomer basically. Similarly, with the waste tire is an added material to the conventional materials. Yes, please.
Okay.
Hello.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Hello. Anji.
Yes, please.
Good morning, sir.
Morning.
Sir, very interesting and very exhaustive. Sir, my little submission is that in spite of so many good filler materials and lot of research, then two factors I would like to seek answer to that most of the roads, new built roads, within say 3 to 4 weeks, the carpeting goes away, right?
Yes.
Then those retouching or recarpeting, the small those stones and other things, this comes out.
Yes.
Secondly, that we find that most of the roads in the city, they have lot of pits. Then why we are not able to find a solution for quick recovery of those smaller pits, which make the driving very difficult?
Okay. So as I understood your question, your first part of the question is that even
why
the
it
newly
goes away?
constructed-
Yeah, after newly construction,
Yeah.
reliability does not continue, say, maximum more than within a month or two, sir. In spite of a lot of pressure by the civil engineering testing from the over Ludhiana, Guru Nanak Dev Engineering College, a lot of halla gulla goes on, but nothing happens. What is the basic technological shortfall?
Yeah. Mostly the problem is the first part of your question says that after laying the road, the new
Yeah.
road, it gives way in about a month or so.
Ji sir, ji sir.
Okay. So the problems can be the utilization of the material. I mean, whether the material which has been utilized has passed the requisite testing criteria or not, and number two, the workmanship. So the material and workmanship, both these two things can be at fault. So sometimes
Right.
what happens is that whatever available material is there, so that is utilized. As I mentioned, even the conventional material, it is not that whatever is available you do use it. You have to test it thoroughly, and different materials are used in different, say, the climatic regions. Whatever the
Ji, sir.
material is useful in J&K, that may not be useful to be used for road construction in our environmental
Ji, sir.
conditions.
Ji, sir. Ji, sir.
So we have to look into all these aspects. So once this is done, then definitely whatever road you are constructing, that will not give way in such a short period of time. Second part
Right.
is the technology which is used for that purpose. I mean, the bitumen layer is to be hot laid at a temperature of around 140,
Ji.
145 degrees Celsius or so.
Ji,
So what
sir.
normally we see is that there is a considerable distance between the hot mix plant and the site at which it is to be dumped and constructed. And by the time it reaches the site, and then in the traffic, it say gets hold
Very
up,
right.
and then remains stranded at the position for
Very
a
right. Ji,
long
sir.
time.
Ji,
And by the
sir.
time the night falls and what contractors tries to do that, he has to do it today itself. So he does it hurriedly, and this results in a very poor performance of that thing.
Very true, sir. Very
So
true,
there
sir.
may not be any with the quality of the material because which is coming from the mixed plant, but the
Yeah.
workmanship.
Right,
They
sir.
have not
Good.
taken care of that. It is to be laid at the prescribed temperature, which is not the case in many of the cases.
Right, sir. That is true.
Okay.
Second, sir, why those pits which come, there are number of pits on the roads, and why we have not come with the solution for their treatment quickly?
Yeah. See, being a highway engineer, I must say that in the first place, why we allow those pits to grow such bigger?
Yeah, happen.
Because
Right, sir.
right from the day one, see, every pit starts from a extraction of a single piece of aggregate.
Very right. Ji, sir.
Then a
Ji, sir.
single piece of aggregate gets out because of the loss of the binding action between the bitumen and that piece of aggregate. The reason may be any. There and then we should be able to address that problem and plug that. But
Right.
what happens once that single piece of bitumen comes out, then the adjoining pieces of bitumen, they also become loose.
Ji, sir.
And
Ji,
therefore,
sir.
with the lesser this vehicular loading, they also start getting more and more looser and coming out of the
Ji,
pavement.
sir.
And thereby
Ji, sir.
creating bigger and bigger this hole.
Right. I
Or
got
the
it.
portion.
Yeah, that is the
Yes.
basic reason. Yeah.
Yeah, the earlier we address this problem, the better it is, so that
Yeah, very
as
right.
they say, the stitch in time saves 9.
Yes, sir.
But we are
Very
getting
practical.
those 9 stitches rather than the stitch in time.
Very practical and true, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Welcome.
Thanks. Yeah.
Any other query, please?
Yes, sir. There is a question in the chat box, sir, from Meet Kaur. She is asking that what are the environmental impacts of these wastes?
Environmental impacts of these waste materials.
Ji, ji.
Okay. You see, what we are trying to do is we are trying to reduce the environmental impact. Otherwise, if they are, say, dumped in the open, so already they are impacting the environment. But what we are doing is we are trying to utilize them in the road construction. So we are trying to reduce the environmental impact. So by using these waste materials in road construction, no additional environmental effect is created.
Hello.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Sir, actually, in your presentation, you said that about the chrome waste or the slag which is generated from the chrome industries and other type of slags. If that
Yeah.
slags are combined with the plastic waste, so will it work for the construction of roads, sir?
That we'll have to see. We'll have
Slag.
to test it in the laboratory. Yeah, we'll have to test it in the laboratory. Then only
Okay.
some comments will be made onto that. Before that, it can't be done. It may work, it may not work. Yes. So I'm seeing one question from Mr.
Ji, sir, in the chat box.
Yes, any other query, please?
Yes, sir. There is a question in the chat box, sir.
Can we use textile synthetic?
Yeah, Mr. Nagaraj Irani. Can we use textile synthetic waste in road construction? Textile synthetic waste. I'm not able to understand what exactly do you mean by textile synthetic waste. So what I understand what is textile synthetic waste?
Nagaraj, please unmute your mic and explain the question, sir.
Nagaraj, can you please let me know that what is this textile synthetic waste? Textile, you're talking about the cloth? I think he's not able to hear. Mr. Nagaraj?
Sir, I guess that is the waste produced during the textile in the textile industry, sir, while producing the clothes.
See, the point is whatever is the material, as I mentioned in the beginning of my presentation, whatever the material, it is got to be tested or performance-based tests are to be conducted. Okay, then only some comment can be made onto that. Then only some conclusion can be drawn. Okay, so whatever I have presented today, that is based upon the case studies which have already been conducted. And of course, many other studies have been conducted which have not proved to be that much successful. But only the success story part I have taken up over here. But of course, any type of material we can try, we can make use of that, test it in the laboratory, and then use it on a test section. And if it performs well, fine. So this can be a good alternative road construction material to be used for us for the future.
Sir, Nagaraj has mentioned about the polyester waste. He has mentioned
Polyester waste. So polyester, as I understand that resham jisko kehte hain na, reshmi dhaga. So I don't know how much will be the bonding between that waste and the aggregate. So even at the if certain people from say chemical engineering are present over here, they may be able to answer it better. That whether that polyester waste will be able to make a good bond with the stone aggregate or not. Number two, whether it will mix well with the bitumen or not. Because otherwise there are two ways. This synthetic waste from the textile industry can be utilized in the same way as we are using the plastic or the waste tire. Okay, so we have to see whether it will be acting in the same way, in the inferior way or in the superior way. So that can only be told once it is actually tested in the laboratory.
Hello, sir. Hello.
Yes, please. Any other query?
if any participant has any kind of question related to this topic, so please unmute your mic and you can ask.
Hello, sir. Hello.
Okay then. Thank you all the participants for your patient hearing. I think the presentation went a little bit longer. So sorry for the same. But anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for your very knowledgeable and practical lecture on utilization of waste material in highway construction. And from the messages in the chat box, it can be seen that all the participants too find it very interesting and useful. Again, thank you so much, sir, for sparing your valuable time and precious knowledge with all of us. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much.